Shalom, how's everyone doing? Today is day 19 of the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, and we'll be learning Siman Gimel, Seif Gimel. Okay, let's get started. Lo yilbosh begadim yikarim. A person should not wear expensive clothing. Ki davar zeh mevias adam lidei gaiva. Because wearing expensive clothing will bring somebody to haughtiness. Velo begadim pechusim ma'od. A person shouldn't wear very low, bad quality garments, or dirty garments, shelo yispaze be'enei habrios, because he shouldn't be humiliated in front of other people. Ela yilo begadim emutzayim unikiyim. He should have middle of the line clothes and clean clothes. La'olam yimkor adam afilu koros beisov yikach menalam l'regelav. A person should even sell the beams of his house so he could wear shoes on his feet. Okay, where's Kitzur coming from? He's actually coming from a Rambam. There's a Rambam in Hachizdeis, Parak Hey Halachates. It says there, Malbush Talmid Chacham, Malbush Navinaki. It says specifically the garments of a Talmid Chacham are garments that are very clean and nice. Va'aser lo shimatzi b'bigdo kesem o shamnunas v'chayotziba. It is also for a Talmid Chacham to have on his clothes a stain or fats or something like that. V'lo yilbosh lo malbush malachim. He shouldn't wear clothes of kings. Could go in big days zahava argaman, golden clothes, purple clothes, shakom mistaklin bahen, because everyone's gonna stare at him. V'lo malbush aniyim shehu mevaze es loshav. He shouldn't wear poor man's clothes because it will be embarrassing to him. Ela began binanim noim. It will be he should wear middle of the line clothes, like what the Kitzur is presenting. That the Kitzur is talking about everybody, but the Rambam says specifically a Talmid Chacham should make sure to wear middle of the line clothes. But what is stressed by the Kitzur and the Rambam is the idea that somebody shouldn't have a stain in his clothes. And there's actually a Gemara like that in Maseches Shabbos, Daf Kuf Yud Daled. The Gemara there, it says it's asur for a Talmid Chacham to have a stain in his clothes. I'll bring up the lesson of the Gemara. This is Shabbos Kuf Yud Daled. Rabbi Yochanan, Kol Talmid Chacham shenimtza revav al bigdo chayiv misa. It says, right? It says any Talmid Chacham wears a stain on his clothes, chayiv misa. Shneimar, because there's a pasuk. It says, "Kol mesanai ohavei maves." All those who hate me love death. Al tikrei mesanai ela masni'eh. Right? That we darsh in the pasuk. Those people who make other people hate me. That's what Hashem's saying. Hashem's saying that there are people that they make people hate me. Hashem's saying that they're gonna die. What's that talking about? Rashi explains that if a Talmid Chacham wears unbefitting clothes, right? He has a stain in his clothes. People are going to look at him and he's going to say oh, this is somebody who learns Hashem's Torah. Somebody who learns Hashem's Torah is disgracing himself by wearing, these stained clothes. So they themselves are going to hate Hashem. That's why it's very important for a Talmid Chacham, right? That people look to Talmid Chacham, that they have to look dignified. They can't have a stain on their clothes because people will look at them and then they're going to come to actually hate Hashem. If you look in the Shalosh Shuvas Binyamin Seif, he writes there, this is in Siman Rish Samich Vav, Chiv Misa is a little harsh. The Gemara says if a Talmid Chacham has a stain, it's a Chiv Misa. That's a little harsh. He says it's not really. It's just saying that a Talmid Chacham has to be very particular to be, to not have a stain in his clothes. And he said, because if a Talmid Chacham merits to not have a stain in his clothes, he's also not going to have a stain in his midos, right? If he has clean clothes, he'll have good midos also. It's going to go hand in hand. So that's why, it's important, at least for a Talmid Chacham, to not have a stain on his clothes. Also, what the Rambam and the Kitzur say is that he shouldn't wear clothing that are too fancy. This is actually a different Gemara. It's actually an interesting Gemara here in still in Maseches Shabbos, Daf Kuf Mem Hey Amud Beis. And it says, just see the whole Gemara because it's an interesting Gemara. The Gemara first says, Mipnei ma ofo shebebavel shemenim. Right? They're asking a question to the Gemara why are the birds in Bavel so fat? So Amarle, they said back, Kalach lemid bar Aza, ve'arech shemanameyan. No, the birds in Eretz Yisrael are actually fatter. So don't think the birds in Bavel are so fat. The birds in Eretz Yisrael are also fat. Next is Mepnei ma moadim shem Bavel smechim. Why are they so happy on a yontif in Bavel as opposed to Eretz Yisrael? So the Gemara says Mepnei shem aniyim, right? Because the people in Bavel were more poor. Right, so they couldn't really be happy throughout the year, with feasts and everything. But on Yom Tovim, they would have special feasts. The last question is Mipnei ma Talmidei Chacham shebebavel mitzuyanim. Right, why are the Talmidei Chacham who live in Bavel? Why do they dress themselves up so fancy? So the Gemara says, Lefi she'enon b'nei Torah, because they're not b'nei Torah. Rashi explains that, you got your Talmidei Chacham in Eretz Yisrael, you have your Talmidei Chacham in Bavel. The Talmidei Chacham in Eretz Yisrael were on such a higher level, right? So they didn't have to really dress themselves up so fancy, right? Their Torah was their dressing themselves up. As opposed to the Talmidei Chacham in Bavel, they were on maybe a little lower level, so they had to dress themselves up to be like, to adorn themselves. So that's why, the Kitzur says, and the Ram says, at least the Talmid Chacham should have middle of the line clothes, because he shouldn't have to dress himself up, right? The Torah should dress him up. That's really what it comes down to. So that's about that. Next thing the Kitzur ends off saying, he says a person should really wear shoes, right? And this is a quote from the Gemara. It's a Gemara, another Gemara in Shabbos, Kuf Chavtas. It says, you should really sell the beams of your house to wear shoes. So the question is, why is it so important to wear shoes? That's really the question. So I think there are 4 shitos why. There are four reasons. We have reason number 1. This is what Rashi says in the Gemara. It's a bizayon, right? It's very disgraceful to walk outside, Rashi says. It's talking about at least going outside, right? It's disgraceful to go outside without shoes on. That's just a disgraceful thing. Therefore, a person should be very careful to get shoes. So when he goes outside, right, when he goes to the shuk, Rashi says, which is the marketplace, he should really wear shoes so he doesn't disgrace himself. That's what Rashi says. The Maharsha says a different reason. The Maharsha says if you don't wear shoes, you're gonna get sick, right? It's gonna lead to tzina. Your feet are gonna get cold. He proves this from a Mishnah in Maseches Yuma, that the Mishnah in Maseches Yuma says that on Yom Kippur we allow a woman who just gave birth to wear shoes on Yom Kippur, because even though you usually can't wear shoes, because she's gonna become cold. Her feet are gonna be cold. It's gonna be dangerous for her. So we see, in general, there's an idea that not wearing shoes is actually dangerous because your feet are gonna be cold. That's what the Maharsha says. Then we have a lot of people bring down, or Rav Chaim Palachi is one of them. He brings down B'Shem the Mikubalim, is that one should not go outside barefoot, is because there's a ruach hatuma on the ground. Right. So if you walk without any shoes on, you walk barefoot, you're gonna be ruach hatuma is gonna cling to you. That's the Mikubalim. Then we have the Mishabura. This is the Mishabura in Siman Beis, and he says it's a tznius din. Right, the Mishabura says it's a tznius din. Right, like we said previously, that a person midinei tznius should keep himself covered, and that's why the Mishabura says this is only applicable in a place that it's normal for that time to have your feet covered. Right, we said the halacha is in Hilchos Tznius that you have to cover yourself what you would usually cover yourself in front of other people. So if you live in a place where it's normal to cover your feet in front of people, then there's a halacha you have to cover your feet. But the Mishnah clearly says if you're in a makom arav, he says you're in a place like an Arabic country that they don't cover their feet, there's really no halacha. You have to wear shoes. So just to, review, we have 4 reasons why it's important to wear shoes. 1 is because it's a disgrace to go outside without any shoes on. That was Rashi. The Maharsha says because your feet are going to get cold. And the Mekubalim say because the ground has a special tum on it, you don't want to be affected by that. And 4, we have the Mishabura because it's tznius halacha. So we have. Are there any difference between these reasons? So one reason off the bat is if it's tznius halacha, right? As we just said, it's not going to. Let's just phrase it like this: does this halacha apply if you're inside your house, right? There's a halacha that you have to wear shoes, as it says here. Does this halacha apply if you're sitting in your house? So think about it. According to the first reason, we have Rashi. Right? Rashi uses the lashon that it's a disgrace to go outside without any shoes on. So obviously, according to Rashi, you could probably be in your house without any shoes on. Maharsha says because your feet are going to get cold. Your feet aren't going to get cold inside. So according to the Maharsha, also it's only halacha if you go outside. The Mekubalim say because the ground's tummy. Yeah, the ground's tummy, your house isn't. But according to the Mishabura, there's a tznius halacha. So according to the Mishabura, right, tznius applies even if you're in your house. So maybe according to the Mishabura, you would have to wear your shoes inside. Second, maybe another nafkamina is, okay, let's say you're not wearing shoes, but you're wearing socks. Right? So let's go through the reasons. Right? According to the Maharsha said because your feet are going to get cold. Your feet aren't going to get cold if you're wearing socks. You're covered. Right? The Mekubalim say because your feet can't touch the ground. They're not. Your feet aren't touching the ground. You're wearing socks. You're being covered. And according to the Mishabura, it's tznius halacha that's fine, your feet are covered. According to the Rashi, who says it's a disgrace to go outside without any shoes on, that would probably apply even if you were wearing socks. Okay, so far we have two nafkaminos. One is if you're inside your house, and two, if you're wearing socks. One more possible nafkamina is if you're in Eretz Yisrael. If you're in Eretz Yisrael, why would that be nafkamina? Let's go through the shitos. Right? Rashi says the whole problem is it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace even in Eretz Yisrael. According to the Maharsha, it's because your feet are getting cold. Your feet will get cold in Eretz Yisrael. According to the Mishabura, it's a tznias halacha, and that should apply even in Eretz Yisrael. But according to the Mekubalim, that the ground is holy. That's what the Mekubalim say. The Shalos Teshuvos Ma'aseh Avram, there's an Aruch Siman Dalet, he says, the ground's tamei, that's in Chutz La'aretz. Right? In Eretz Yisrael, the land's holy. As the pasuk says in Jilam, Ki rasu avadecha zavaneh ves afara yichonin. Right? That the dirt in Eretz Yisrael has a special kedusha. So therefore, maybe in Eretz Yisrael, one could actually walk outside barefoot, even at least according to the Mikubal. Okay, shkoyach.